Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Happy International Women's Day. What a fun day to gather together. I didn't even know when I set the date that today was so special and momentous. So let's get with it. I want to welcome you to the 5 things you need to know to host a live event that converts leads into paying clients even if you don't have any experience. Um, what a great thing to talk about in this day and age of having live events as a powerful business tool. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can take a look at the slides. You'll be able to take notes and we'll just move forward. So give me just a second to share my screen. And here we go. And let's get this party started. I am so excited. Here we go. I hope that you all can hear me. Let me move my microphone in just a little bit too, to make sure that we have sound. All right, let's get moving. Let me move this up out of the way too. All right. So the purpose of today's presentation is to help small business owners see how well-planned and executed live events can help bolster your brand, position yourself as an expert in your industry or niche, to grow your community, but even more than that, to establish relationship with your clients. I think that is one of the biggest keys that we're going to see changing this year. And to drive revenue so you can scale your business, right? Events are a lot of work and you want to make sure you're getting an ROI when you commit to doing a live event. So as you've heard me say before when you've joined me, speaking is one of the best ways to grow your business. It's like a try before you buy. Live events that are virtual are great. Don't get me wrong, they're not going anywhere. But live face-to-face in-person events are really where it's at. Post-COVID, people are craving one-on-one interaction, and we want to be able to give them what they want and what they need, right? So hold on. Oh, here we go. So for those of you who haven't been with me before, who am I? I'm Anza Goodbar. I'm the founder and CEO of Bankable Events. We are a premier event advisory and management firm. What does that mean? That means that we partner with you to help you come up with the strategies that you need in order to host events that convert. I have over 20 years of experience in the event planning industry. I have executed more than 4,000 events over the course of those 20 years. I have helped clients earn more than $100 million through successful events. And next year, I'll be celebrating 20 years as an entrepreneur, 14 of those in the online business consulting area. We help clients come up with innovative monetization strategies to help leverage events as a business building tool. So there's a purpose and a goal behind the event, and we want to help small business owners really be able to capitalize on their expertise. So here's a few of the brands that we've worked with over the years. As you can imagine, many of them were repeat clients over the years, but here is just a few: Aero Electronics, General Cologne Reinsurance, the Big 12 Conference, Pfizer, the Travelers Insurance, Ford, Porsche, New York Life. Focus on the Family was one of my employers that I worked with and did huge arena events with. Clearview Mortgage, Morgan Stanley, Westwood College. So there's a lot of different types of industry that's represented here. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know that events work regardless of your industry, whether you're a big financial firm, a pharmaceutical, a car dealership, a coach, a consultant, a service provider, an author, a speaker. There is a type of event that's out there that can help you. That's why I wanted to put together this masterclass today, was to talk about the things that you need to know to successfully orchestrate and design and execute a successful event. So today we're going to cover how to define your audience and set your clear goals. For those of you who follow me, I know that's no big surprise. We're going to talk about planning your event logistics. We're going to talk about creating compelling content and presentations. And we're going to talk about how to effectively promote your event, and then how to follow up and how to measure your success. All of those things are really popular and important when it comes to planning and executing a successful live event. So let's talk for a minute about defining your audience and setting clear goals. This is the first thing that you need to do if you're considering hosting your first event, or if you've hosted events in the past that haven't met your expectations. It's a great place to pause and sit back and reassess where you're at. Maybe you didn't have people show up because you were trying to talk to everybody and you hadn't really narrowed down your avatar or your buyer's persona. People hear about that, or you might know of it as your target audience, right? There's a lot of different terms in the marketing world that talk about who's that person that you want to have at your event. Who are you serving? What problem are you solving for them? What solution are you identifying to help them get past their stuck, right? And so it's really important to sit down and take a look at who that person is in great detail. Don't just say something simple like, I'm looking to work with business owners, or I'm just looking to work with service providers. That's not enough. You really need to know, who is this person? I deal mostly with women, so you're probably going to hear me talk about who is this woman, but it works for males and females. I just want to be really clear on that if you're a guy who happens to be tuning in today. So think about who this person is. How long have they been in business? What are they struggling with? Where are they stuck? Do they need skills? Do they need confidence? Do they need support? Do they just flat need answers on a process of how to do this? I have always looked at myself as being a hybrid between a coach and a consultant, because I think both are really important in business building, but they're also really important when you're looking at figuring out who's coming to your event. Do they need a little coaching? Do they need a little encouragement? Or do they need, like you would give on the consulting side, some real education, some practical how to step-by-step processes to get to where they need to be? So it's really important. And if you don't have a tool for that, connect with me later. We have a mini course that we've recently put together to walk you through the process of asking 101 different questions to really get to know who your ideal audience is, and being really clear on how you're showing up and how you're serving them and what they're going to get by attending your event. What's in it for them, right? It's all about them when you're designing what your event is going to look like. So, what's your event goal? Maybe you haven't thought about that before. Why are you hosting this event? What's the end goal for you, right? Like Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. What is that end position for you? Are you wanting to inspire, to educate, to entertain? Are you wanting to make connections and build relationship? Are you wanting to teach something? Are you launching a product and you want sales out of the event? There's a lot of different avenues that lead to a successful event. So being able to look at, do you want to build your list? Do you want to get to know your clients better? Do you want to launch a product? Do you want to teach people how to do something? Do you want to bring people together to make connections, to collaborate? Do you want to collaborate with other speakers or authors and come together and really add value at your event? So again, there's a myriad of ways that you can take a look at this, but you really want to be clear about what your objective is, what you're delivering. And that brings us to the big promise. What's your big promise? What's the big takeaway? What's that compelling emotional thing that's going to get your people there? That's really what's important. You need that emotional hook to get their attention, to say, wow, she gets me. She knows me. That's exactly what I've been struggling with. I haven't been able to find that answer. I haven't been able to get over that hurdle, right? Maybe your event is to show recognition. Maybe there's people in your tribe that have attained a certain business goal or reached a personal milestone, and you want to celebrate that. So maybe you want to have some kind of an award. Maybe you want to give away a scholarship. And so people are competing for the scholarship. They have to apply, they have to go through different steps. And maybe you're awarding this scholarship as part of your event. Maybe you want to highlight a cause. That's another goal that you have. One client of mine is really passionate about bringing attention to suicide prevention. And she has a nonprofit. And having lost a member of her family to a completed suicide, she wants to prevent other families from going through a similar experience. So think about, what's your why? What's your reason? What's your end goal? What's your promise? Because only then can you create the targeted messaging that you'll need to get your people's attention and be able to fill that event. Can you have more than one avatar at your event? Absolutely, you can. But the messaging to get them there is going to be different. And for those of you who have followed me, through my corporate online journey, this probably sounds like a broken record, but I can tell you it cannot be more true. Getting people to your event can be a struggle if your messaging is not on target. So really, the first step, the first thing that you need to do to create an event that converts is to be really clear about who your avatar is, the promise that you have, the problem that you're solving, the solution you're providing, and then you can put your messaging into place. So, to plan, the next thing that we really need to look at is the logistics. And that really starts with having the right venue. What kind of a venue do you need for your event? What venue is going to shape the flow of your event? Some venues have finite space. And so you want to be really clear on the movement that your people are going to need to make before you sign on that dotted line. So right now, a lot of my clients are planning retreats. It's retreat season moving into the spring before kids get out of school. And so one of the things that we're using a lot of right now are really great Airbnb or Vrbo properties. You can find some great luxury properties that give you the feel of being away without having to get away from the city. So you have easy travel times. It makes for a great 2 or 3 day getaway. And here's some pictures on this particular slide of an upcoming event I'm working on with a client of mine for an executive business woman's retreat. This is right outside of Colorado Springs, Colorado, in a little bedroom community called Manitou. It butts right up to the Garden of the Gods. And so right away, she has scenic views. She has this beautiful historic venue. She has access to the Garden of the Gods for some easy hiking, yoga, picture taking, an easy stroll. She's close to shopping with some fun touristy places to get some great gifts for friends or family. It's easy to get to from Denver or Colorado Springs. It could be a drive up from Pueblo. So it's also, Denver's an easy city to get in and out of with a lot of one-way nonstop I should say, not one-way flights. And so when we looked at a destination, it's like, what's going to be great this time of year? Where can we have outdoor space that we can actually use so we can create great teaching for everybody to be together, but great alone space to go and process and journal and really experience that transformation. You know, if you're doing more of a hotel environment or a conference center environment, you need to look at breakout space. You need to look at how much space do you have for everyone to come together? What kind of space do you need for meals? Are you providing meals on site? Are you letting people go out into the community? How close are you to restaurants? How equipped are these restaurants going to be to get a large group of people fed and back to your venue on time to keep your agenda moving smoothly and efficiently? So you want to start thinking about all of those things before you choose your venue, because your venue can make or break your event. If it isn't conducive to the flow that you have and you're trying to force things to happen, or it limits your growth, if you have a huge response to your event, you're going to be up a creek without a paddle. So start asking yourself, you know, what else is going on in the city? Am I going to need additional hotel space? Is the city sold out because there's a huge convention? What competing events are going on with my event? You know, if you're doing a large arena event and someone else is doing a large event and you're in the same um, location, you could be competing for clients. So you want to be really careful when you're looking at choosing your event space. You also want to consider the tech that you need. What kind of AV do you need? What are your goals with your AV? Are you live streaming? Are you turning your conference into some digital products on the back end? Do you have the lighting and the support and the sound that you need to be able to create the feel and the ambiance? You know, do you want it to be more intimate and quiet? Do you want it to be a big wow and make a big impression, right? So you need to think about those things because there's a dollar attached to that, right? Those things cost money. So are you getting the ROI out of what that is? Does your facility have these things on site? Do you need to bring in an additional vendor? You know, AV, catering, what have you? What do those costs look like? Because sometimes you can get a really great deal with everything that you need and it's all inclusive. Sometimes everything is a la carte, and that can really make a big difference on your bottom line. Think about your flow again. Where are your breakout rooms? Are they easy to get to? Are you going to need to have staff to help escort people? Do you need to build time into your schedule to allow people to get to the destination of the breakout room or the activity, whatever it is that you might be doing? You know, are you doing a team building event? Do you need room for people to spread out? Can you do it outdoors? If you're doing an outdoor event, do you have an inside backup? You know, there's a lot of things as business owners and event planners that we can control, but weather is not one of them. And especially if you're doing something in the springtime, weather can be very unpredictable. So think about it. Does your theme work indoors as well as it does outdoors? Would it take away from your event? If you weren't able to host at your ideal outdoor location. So those are things that you really need to think very carefully about before you actually commit to your venue. The next thing that you want to do is you want to start talking about the content and the presentations. You know, the last thing that people really want is to sit in a chair for 8 or 10 hours and be talked at. You want to make sure that your content is relevant, engaging, interactive, and that you allow time for them to connect with other people in the room. A big reason that people attend face-to-face, in-person live events is to make connections. They want to feel like they're a part of a community. They want to feel seen, heard, and understood. They want to connect with their tribe. They want to be able to connect with other business collaborators, maybe influencers who can help promote their brand or product. And so you want to think through that as you're putting together your presentations. So maybe there's Q&A, maybe there's bringing people up on stage to share a story or to provide an award. Maybe you're a podcaster. So maybe you want to do a live recording of a podcast live and let potential podcasters see what it's like to interview somebody live and what you go through to do that. Doing live demonstrations can be very engaging, and it really helps people, again, have the try before you buy experience with you when they see what it's like to work with you when you do something live. So what are you going to do for your speakers? Are you going to be the only speaker? Are you bringing in other subject experts? Are you bringing in a big headliner? What does that look like? How do you need to lay that out to build the big crescendo? You also want to think about your offer. What kind of offer are you having? When is the most appropriate place for you to position that? How does that work with your speaker lineup? Are you going to have multiple offers given throughout your event? If you're doing a multi-day event, you might give your offer several different times in a different way based on what your offer is and how you're selling it. And so it's really important to be able to lay that out and see what kind of presentation style makes the most sense for what you're doing. You want to think too about, what are your speakers there for? Are you bringing them in to be more entertaining? Are you bringing them in to inspire people? Do you want people to say, wow, if they could do that, I could do that too, right? Do you want to motivate them? Do you want to challenge them to look at the business problem they're having from an entirely different perspective and open up a new framework that you've created to help them get from point A to point B? Because at the end of the day, that's what your event is. It's a bridge from where they are to where they want to be. And your content and your presentation are the steps on that bridge. And then you want to think about, designing your offer. Do you want to keep it really just a simple conversational, see me in the back of the room if you're interested? Or do you want it to be a big sales page, a big sales funnel kind of thing? You flash a link on the screen, everybody goes to a digital sales page and they're able to sign up. So think about, how are your people going to digest that best? Because you want to make sure that you're giving your offer in a way that is going to resonate with your audience. Okay, so really important stuff there. So then you want to think about promoting your event effectively. One of the biggest reasons that people don't get a great turnout at their live events is they under promoted. They felt like they just needed to send an email or two or make a post or two, and then their event would be full. And then when it wasn't, they felt a little deflated. I've seen that happen time and time again. So you want to have a really strong promotional plan for getting butts in seats at your events. And so one way that you can do that is through social media. Social media is a great way to start building buzz and getting people excited and talking about your event. You want to do email marketing, plug into your list. Hopefully your list is filled with your ideal clients, and your idea for what you were going to do at your event was based on this group of people's needs, wants, desires, right? You might also want to tap into some influencers. Influencer marketing is really hot right now. And if you can partner with the right influencers, it can be a very effective way to get people to your events. Using affiliates. If you don't want to use paid ads, and not everybody does, which I totally get, you might want to use affiliates and have people sign up. You give them their own link and then you pay them a percentage for everybody that converts to your event. So it's a really smart way to spend your marketing dollars. You're not paying anything in advance. You're simply paying on things that have converted. And so you can make some really strategic partnerships having people affiliate for you. Another way to get the word out is through podcast interviews. If you have an event that's coming up, start looking for podcasts that you can be a guest on and be able to share your event. Talk to the podcast host before you go on and ask if you can have it air in this time frame that matches up with what your promotional period is. And most podcast hosts that I've worked with, whenever I have something going on, they're like, absolutely, we want to support each other, right? They want to grow their podcast by getting in front of your audience. You want to grow your events by getting in front of their audience. And so it's really a marriage made in heaven if it's done correctly. There's a lot of different ways that you can promote your events. And I've got several that are listed on our website if you're looking for some additional ideas. Depending on where you're at and who you're serving, there's some things that can be quite effective and are quite easy to orchestrate. And then after the event is over, you want to make sure that you're following up and you're measuring your success. Why is that important? Because if you're using your event as a business building tool, you want to make sure that you hit a home run. You don't want to repeat a mediocre performance. So make sure that you're keeping in connection with your people. You need to send out some kind of a thank you email. You need to be following up on your offer. You need to be asking for testimonials, and you need to be sending out surveys. You want to really be able to grow your list from your events. You want to nurture these people who didn't buy, and not everybody will from your event. Going into that with open eyes is really important. Some people think if they host an event, they're going to sell out everything that they have on their mastermind or their product launch or what have you. You want to be really realistic about the percentage that you can expect to convert, and know that some people take longer to decide to say yes to what your offer is. Some people need a little bit more time with you before they say yes to work with you. So keep that in mind and know that you may have another event next quarter that you could invite them to. Maybe it's a virtual event that feeds into a live event. Let them have that other taste of you. So listen to what that feedback is so you can go in and you can make changes and pivot where you need to in order to have a successful event that converts on a larger scale next time. It's really important when you're looking at your event goals. How much revenue do you want to come from your events? And so when you're looking at measuring your success, what was your revenue goal? What were your actuals? What did that look like? Maybe part of it was a book sale for you. Maybe you're an author and you wanted to sell 100 books at your event. Maybe you also have a coaching program and you wanted to have 10 people enrolled into your coaching event. How many actually showed up? So it can be very easy to measure the success of your event, looking at attendee experience. That's a huge metric. Did you hit the mark? Were your topics correct? Did they love your speakers? Did you have enough break time built in? Did they feel rushed? Did they feel that the amount of time was the right time? Did they feel that the event venue was the right venue? All of these things are really important for you to know before you start planning your next event. So let's just do a little recap. I know we covered a lot of material today. So we talked about defining your ideal avatar and setting clear goals for your event. That's the absolute first place that you want to start before you go anywhere else. You want to put the pen to the paper and be really clear about what you're doing and who you're doing it for and why you're doing it, right? You want to plan your logistics carefully. You want to choose the right venue. You want to have the right agenda. You want to have the right flow. You want to really look at your content and make sure that it's relevant, that it addresses their needs, their problems, their obstacles, and it presents the solution that they've been searching for. You want to make sure that you have effective, on target marketing. You want to give yourself a long enough runway to promote your event. If you're doing a small workshop or a retreat, you could do that in 3 to 6 weeks. That's probably plenty of time. If you're doing a large arena event, you probably want to have a year, maybe even 18 months to go through the planning and promotional cycles. And so you want to be really clear about what you're doing and how long you need to get all of the things done to host that successful event. And then finally, you want to be able to go back and have some surveys, collect those testimonials, and be able to measure, did you hit your mark? Did you reach the goals that you had? If you didn't, be sure that you're asking why and find out what you can change or do differently, or maybe not do at all for your next event. A lot of great learning comes from every event. Each event is different. So before we go, I want to talk just briefly about the 5 mistakes business owners make when planning an event. Not having a clear purpose or objective. We talked about that first off, right? Sometimes it's just the idea of having the event. It sounds like fun. Let's jump in. Let's do it, right? You've got to be really clear about why you're doing what you're doing to make sure that you bring in all of the right elements. Underestimating your budget. You need to make sure that you're clear on what your costs are going to be. Your venue and your food are going to be some of the biggest costs. So when you're thinking about this event, are you feeding people? Is it on your own for meals? Is it an additional upsell? There's ways that you can take a look at the budget. If you're concerned about your ticket price. So be sure that you also lay out a good budget that includes all of the major categories for your event. Failing to market effectively. Marketing your event needs to be strategic, it needs to be consistent, and it needs to have a long enough promotion runway. Overcomplicating things. You want to live by the keep it simple Sally rule when you run your event. The simpler it is, the easier it is to orchestrate. Keep in mind, if you're running a larger event, you're probably going to have volunteers helping you out. And so you want to keep things as simple as possible because they haven't been with you through the whole creation and design process. They haven't heard every single conversation. They're getting a small bit of information in order to help you execute on site. So keep things simple when it comes to planning your logistics. And then neglecting a post-event follow-up. Sometimes after an event, people never hear from the event host again. And so they've really lost the ability to connect and build community and deepen relationships with their clients and potential clients. So that aftercare, if you will, is so important in the success of your event. So let me leave you with a couple closing thoughts. The energy that exists at a live event can't be replicated any other way. I'm going to say that again because that's a really important takeaway. The energy that exists at a live event can't be replicated any other way. You can have a great virtual event, don't get me wrong, but the energy is not the same. It's not as contagious as being able to reach out and touch someone or hug someone. It's just different. And so now more than ever in our post-COVID world, people are craving that face-to-face interaction. So if you've been considering using live events as a business building tool, there's no better time than now. The second thought I want to leave you with today is if you want to become a 7-figure business owner, you need to have more than one stream of income. In fact, with all the reading that I've been doing about building a 7-figure business, most people have 5 to 7 streams of income. So think of your event as being one of those consistent, sustainable streams of income to help build your 7-figure event. There are so many different ways that you can monetize your event, from collaborations and joint ventures, promoting your book, repurposing content. There are dozens and dozens of ways that you can make that happen and grow your event even into $1 million event. And the biggest thing I want you to think about today is you can't do it alone. If you're going to execute an amazing, life-changing, transformational event for your attendees, you need to have a team. And we recognize that not everybody has a team to be able to pull this off on their own. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But I want to give you some action items. So what can you do on your own today? If you're thinking about putting on a live event, I want you to sit down and analyze who's your target audience. If you don't know for sure, conduct some polls. Reach out to people and do some research. If there's people that you're like, that's who I want to work with, invite them to sit down with you for a coffee chat. Ask them a few questions. Find out if the things that you believe to be true about the person that you want to serve is actually true, because that's going to give you the foundation to build on when you're planning an event. The second thing that you can do on your own is to study your competitors. Look at other people that are hosting events. Are they hosting retreats? Are they hosting workshops? Are they doing seminars? Are they doing local events? Are they doing destination events? What are they doing? Is it working? Do their clients like it? Find out what they're doing, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Now, I'm not saying go out and copy what somebody's doing, but I'm saying follow the model that's working for them. Make it your own in a way that resonates with your ideal client. And then evaluate your resources and goals. How much do you have to invest in your event? Do you need to go out and find some sponsors? Do you need to do this in partnership with someone? Can you collaborate with some other authors or speakers or podcasters or small business owners? How can you figure out the pieces to make that work? Define the goal that you would have in mind by hosting your live event. And the goal could be simple. You want to be seen as an expert. You want to expand your influence. You want to make your brand more visible. And you want to build community. Most of all, most people do events because they want to drive revenue. They want it to be a revenue stream that can be a consistent tool that they can count on. So let's say that you want to do some live events, but you really don't know where to get started, or maybe you don't want to do the planning. It's not your thing, and that's okay. It's not everybody's thing. Maybe it's something that you want to outsource. Maybe you do have a team and you just need some strategy. So you could work with us on a purely consultative basis, and we can just sit down with you and we can help you map out the strategy to make your goal turn into a reality. There's a lot of different ways that we can make that happen, but it starts with a phone call. Let's have a discovery call. Let's talk strategy if that's something that you think would be beneficial. The second thing that I'm probably the most excited about is today we are launching our Events Convert Academy. And that is an online digital portal that we are going to start filling with digital assets to help you, the small business owner, be able to create events that convert. And so we have our first digital course called Master the Art of Planning Live Events that is available to you today. If you're like, I just need the nuts and bolts. I want to know what it's like to plan a large event. I need the templates. I need the emails. I need the schedule. I need to know how to book an event, whatever it is. This particular course has 91 different modules that you can work through at your own pace. We have a 200-page workbook that accompanies it that has, I think, more than 66 samples and templates of the tools that you would need to be able to put on your own successful event. The other thing that is in the course, or I'm sorry, in the academy, is if you need more, maybe you like doing things together or done with you. We also have a Master the Art of Planning Live Events small group 90-day program where you'll have the opportunity to go through the planning process live with me as I am helping clients plan their live events. So you can go through the same stages with me, and at the end of 90 days, you'll be ready to launch your own live event. And so if the digital course isn't the way you like to learn and do things, if you feel like community is a more appropriate way, take a look at the partner group coaching program for that. And then, of course, there's the done for you option. We have a team of planners that between everyone on our team has more than 50 years of combined experience in event planning and execution. You can turn your ideas over to us and we can do all of the planning, and we even will travel on site to execute for you if that's part of what you need. So there's a lot of ways that we could partner with you to help you use live events as a scalable tool in your business. So if that's something that you think that would be of interest on any level, feel free. Get in contact with us. A lot of people have been asking about sponsorships. We've put together a free sponsorship deck template. That's a mouthful. You can click the QR code in blue with the blue border, and you can grab your free sponsorship template that will walk you through the information that sponsors are going to want from you before they say yes to underwriting the costs of your event. If you want to find out more about the Events Convert Academy and the digital courses and group coaching that is currently in there, you can scan in the QR code with the green border on there. And feel free to check back. We're going to be adding additional resources on a monthly basis. And so it's our hope that this is going to grow and grow and grow. And then in the gray box on the right-hand side of your screen, if you just want more information, if you're like, I don't even know if this is right for me, I've got some questions. I want to find out if this is a tool that could help me grow my business. Schedule a call with us. Let's sit down and have a conversation. We are happy to answer any questions that you have, talk through any kind of scenarios. There isn't anything that we do over here at Bankable Events that is cookie cutter. Everything that we do is customized to help you grow your business. And the reason that we do that is because there's no other business that's like your business out there. And we want to make sure that we're providing solutions that are meaningful to you. So again, I want to thank you for being here with me today to help celebrate International Women's Day. What a fun day this has been over here at Bankable, and I hope that you're having a great day in your business too. I look forward to seeing you on one of our future master classes. We have another one coming up on March 22nd called Crush Your Success. And CRUSH is an acronym that we'll be revealing to you over the next couple of weeks as we start promoting that live event. So we hope we'll see you there.